Dramatic tone. The explosion shakes dust from the concrete ceiling as Marcus Titan Cole slams his rifle onto the sandbags. Nervous. 2.9 kilometers? In this crosswind? Rushed. He wipes sweat from his scope lens while mortar rounds whistle overhead, loudly. Convoy's pinned, his spotter calls out, squinting through the rangefinder. Serious tone. 7 civilians, including the ambassador's daughter. Taliban's got them locked down in the valley.
Hammock and 1026 at last transmit.
Matter of fact. Ellen Reeves pushes through the doorway, hauling what looks like translation equipment. Just another contractor in tan cargo pants and a faded press vest. Awe. The stunningly beautiful woman with Russian features moves with practiced efficiency. Her fair porcelain skin dusted with Afghan dirt. Natural freckles visible across her cheeks and nose, despite the grime. Her high, sharp nose bridge catches shadows as she sets down the heavy case, reflective. Long, light brown hair, tied in a messy high bun, with a few loose curls framing her face. Those captivating green eyes scan the room with a radiant and regal presence that seems utterly out of place in a combat zone. Her fitted light gray t-shirt is already soaked with sweat, slim dark military pants and brown combat boots completing the contractor uniform that doesn't quite hide her natural grace. Cole doesn't even look up from his scope, frustrated. "Get this civilian out of here, now," quietly. "Sir, I have the terrain maps you requested," shouting. "I said move!" gasp. He shoves past her, sending her notebook scattering across the dirt floor. Papers flutter like wounded birds in the hot air. "We don't have time for whatever useless intel you're selling. This is SEAL work. Real operators only," reflective. Ellen kneels quietly, gathering her papers with steady hands. Her breathing slows to a pattern nobody notices. 4 counts in, 7 hold, 8 out. The same rhythm they teach at sniper school. The same rhythm that kept her alive through 43 confirmed kills before she died 3 years ago in a Syrian street that officially never existed. Dramatic tone. Through the scope, Cole's first shot goes wide by 10 meters. The crack of the rifle echoes across the valley. Rushed. Then another miss. And another. Each shot kicks up dust clouds that reveal his position to enemy spotters. Whispering. "Wind's wrong," Ellen whispers in Pashto, but nobody's listening. Gulps. She traces air current patterns in the dust on the floor, calculations flowing through her mind like water. 6 more shots crack through the air, 6 more misses. The convoy's taking direct fire now. Radio chatter fills the bunker with desperate voices. "Dragon 6, this is Diplomat 1. We're taking heavy fire. My daughter, she's 19 years old. Please." Cole's jaw tightens as he chambers another round. His team of elite SEALs, the best snipers in the world, can't make a shot that shouldn't even be that difficult. Not for them. Not with their training and equipment. In exactly 3 minutes, these SEALs are about to discover why some ghosts choose to stay dead, and why the best shooters never need to take credit for the shots that matter most. If you've ever been dismissed because of how you look or what job you have, you know exactly how Ellen feels right now. Hit that like button for everyone who's been underestimated. Subscribe and ring the bell, because this story is about to flip everything you thought you knew about combat. And if you know a veteran who deserves recognition, share this with them. The mortar rounds are getting closer. Each explosion sends concrete dust raining from the ceiling like snow in hell. Forward Operating Base Chapman sits on a ridge overlooking the Korengal Valley, what soldiers call the Valley of Death. Today it's earning that name again. "Titan, we need that shot." Lieutenant Commander Jessica Ward's voice crackles over the radio. "QRF is 20 minutes out, but the convoy doesn't have that long." Cole adjusts his scope, sweat dripping onto the rifle stock. "Roger that, Commander. Wind's playing games with us. Thermal columns from the valley floor are creating false readings." Ellen sets her equipment case down carefully, pulling out what appears to be old Soviet survey maps. The yellowed papers are covered in Cyrillic characters and hand-drawn topographical notes. She spreads them on an empty ammo crate, her movements precise and economical. "Ma'am," the young SEAL they call Prophet says, glancing at her work, "those maps are from the 80s. We have satellite imagery that's wrong," Ellen says quietly, not looking up from her calculations. "Your satellite can't read the micro-terrain. These valleys create wind vortexes that change every 400 meters of elevation." Cole turns from his rifle, his face red with frustration and heat. Did you serve? Do you have any military experience whatsoever? Ellen meets his gaze for exactly 2 seconds, then looks away. I'm just a translator, sir. Then translate this. Get out now. He turns back to his scope, dismissing her entirely. Prophet, what's the wind call? 15 knots from the west, sir. Ellen shakes her head slightly, writing numbers in her notebook. 23 knots, gusting to 30. The calculation flows through her mind automatically. Years of muscle memory that 3 years of being dead couldn't erase. She factors in barometric pressure, humidity, the Coriolis effect at this latitude. The bullet will be in flight for over 4 seconds. A lot can change in 4 seconds. Another shot from Cole's rifle. Another miss. This one lands 30 meters short of the Taliban position. This is impossible. Cole slams his fist on the sandbag. The scope must be off. Prophet, check the... A wounded Afghan National Army soldier is dragged into the bunker, his leg torn open by shrapnel. Blood seeps through a poorly applied tourniquet. The medic is busy with another casualty, overwhelmed by the sudden influx of wounded. Ellen moves without thinking. She kneels beside the soldier, her hands already working on the tourniquet. She loosens it slightly, repositions it 2 inches higher where the femoral artery runs, then tightens it properly. The bleeding slows to a manageable trickle. She pulls a water bottle from her vest, helps him drink small sips to prevent shock. Shukran, the soldier whispers, his eyes grateful. But Ellen is already moving away, back to her maps. Major Hassan Nazari, the Afghan National Army liaison, watches her with narrowed eyes. He's seen that kind of medical precision before, in soldiers who've treated too many battlefield wounds. Your translator has interesting skills, Nazari says to Cole. She probably took a first aid course, Cole replies dismissively, adjusting his scope again. Civilians love their certificates. Ellen pulls a photo from her pocket, glances at it quickly, then tucks it away. But Nazari catches a glimpse. A young woman in West Point cadet uniform, bright smile, eyes that match Ellen's. On the back, barely visible, words written in neat handwriting. Miss you, Mom. Stay safe. The radio crackles again. Dragon 6, this is Diplomat 1. My daughter Sarah, she's hit. She's only 19, she's pre-med at Georgetown. She just wanted to help people. Please. Ellen's hand trembles for exactly 1 heartbeat, then steadies. Sarah Chen, 19, the same age as her own daughter, the same desire to help others, the same whole life ahead of her. If someone can make an impossible shot through impossible wind across an impossible distance. Titan, 10th shot, Prophet calls out. No impact observed. The SEALs are the best of the best. Navy Special Warfare Development Group. They've trained for years, spent millions of dollars in ammunition, traveled the world learning from every military force that would teach them. But the Valley doesn't care about their reputation. The wind doesn't respect their tridents. Ellen writes another line of calculations. She knows this valley. Her husband died here in 2009, victim of an IED on the road below. She spent 3 months after his death studying every map, every weather pattern, every possible sniper position, trying to understand how the enemy had watched him, targeted him, killed him. Now that knowledge might save someone else's daughter. Wind correction, 32 minutes right, Cole says. Copy, 32 right, Prophet confirms, adjusting the scope. Ellen almost speaks up, almost tells them they're off by 8 minutes. But she learned long ago that men with guns don't listen to women with notebooks. So she stays silent, continues her calculations, and watches them miss again. The 11th shot goes wide. The 12th doesn't even reach the target. The 13th kicks up dust 50 meters from where it needs to be. This doesn't make sense. Cole's voice rises with each word. My rifle is zeroed. The scope is perfect. We've calculated everything. Maybe it's the ammunition, Prophet suggests. Could be a bad batch. It's match grade, every round identical. Cole wipes his face with a dusty sleeve. Something's wrong here. Ellen stands slowly, approaches the shooting position. Sir, if I could just... No. Cole doesn't even turn around. Whatever you're selling, we don't need it. This is precision work, years of training. You wouldn't understand. She retreats to her corner, but not before noticing something. The logistics contractor, a man named David Mitchell, is entering data into his tablet. He's supposed to be helping with supply runs, but he's inputting wind data into the ballistic calculator. and every number he enters is wrong. Sir, Prophet says suddenly, his scope fogging in the heat, I can't see anything. The lens is... Cat's tongue and saliva, Ellen says automatically, the words escaping before she can stop them. Old sniper trick for fog. The enzymes in... She catches herself, forces a nervous laugh. I mean, I heard that from some soldiers once, at the mess hall. Prophet stares at her. That's not mess hall talk. That's Soviet Spetsnaz technique from the Cold War, the kind of thing you only learn from someone who learned it from someone who was there. Major Nazari steps closer to Ellen. Where did you really hear that, Miss Reeves? I translate a lot of military documents. Sometimes old Soviet manuals. You pick things up. She busies herself with her papers, avoiding his gaze. Cole fires his 14th shot. It misses by 40 meters. The radio explodes with the general's voice. What in holy heaven is going on up there, Cole? You've had 14 shots. 14! A half-blind private could do better. Sir, the wind conditions are... I don't want excuses. I want that convoy covered. If we have to send in the QRF, we're looking at 50% casualties minimum. Figure it out. Cole turns from his rifle, his face a mask of frustrated rage. He sees Ellen's notebook, her careful calculations, and something snaps. You! He strides over, grabs her notebook, and tears it in half. You've been distracting my team with your amateur observations. Prophet's watching you instead of spotting. Nazari's asking questions instead of translating intercepted communications. He throws the torn pages at her feet. This is your fault. Ellen kneels to collect the pieces, her movements calm despite the accusation. I'm sorry, sir. I was only trying to what? Play soldier? This isn't a game. People are dying down there because you think your 40-year-old maps matter more than modern technology. Sir, Prophet interjects carefully, her calculations might actually... Stow it, Prophet. Cole keys his radio. Command, this is Dragon 6. We have a civilian contractor interfering with operations, requesting immediate removal. 2 military police officers enter the bunker within minutes, their faces grim. Ma'am, you need to come with us. Ellen stands, gathering her torn papers. As she moves, her sleeve rides up, revealing burn scars in a distinctive pattern. IED burns, the kind you only get when you're close enough to feel the heat, but far enough to survive. The kind that mark you forever as someone who's been in the real war, not the clean war of long-range precision shots. Major Nazari notices. His grandfather was a sniper in the Soviet war here. He told stories of ghost snipers, phantoms who appeared when needed and vanished when the job was done. He told of one rule. The ghosts always had the scars to prove they'd earned their invisibility. Wait, Nazari says to the MPs. Let me see her identification. She's State Department, one MP replies. Translator. Clean background check. Then why does she have combat scars? Ellen pulls her sleeve down quickly. Kitchen accident, grease fire at the embassy. But Nazari isn't buying it. He watches her stance, the way she automatically positions herself with clear sight lines to all exits. The way her breathing stays steady despite being accused of causing deaths. The way her eyes track movement like a predator, not prey. What would you do? Stay hidden to protect a mission, or reveal yourself to save lives? Drop your answer in the comments below. Veterans, have you ever seen someone completely underestimated like this? Share your story. The bunker shakes from another mortar impact, closer this time. The enemy is walking their fire up the ridge, using the SEALs' muzzle flashes to target them. We need to displace, Prophet says urgently. They've got our position. Negative, Cole replies. We leave. The convoy has zero cover. Sir, we're no good to them if we're dead. Ellen watches Mitchell, the logistics contractor, typing on his tablet. Every time Cole calls out a wind adjustment, Mitchell enters something different into the system. It's subtle, professional, almost invisible. But Ellen spent 3 years dead learning to see invisible things. The wind data, she says suddenly, loudly enough for everyone to hear. Check the wind data in your ballistic computer. Cole spins around. I told you to... Check it! Her voice carries command authority that makes everyone freeze. For just a moment, the translator's mask slips and something else shows through. Something that's given orders in places where orders meant life or death. Prophet looks at his screen. Sir, the wind values, they don't match what we called. Mitchell steps forward quickly. Technical glitch. These systems are sensitive to dust. I'll reset it. His hand moves toward the tablet. Don't touch it, Ellen says. Her voice is quiet again, but there's steel underneath. That's evidence. Evidence of what? Cole demands. Who are you to? The radio interrupts with a desperate call. Dragon 6, Diplomat 1, Sarah's losing consciousness. We have minutes, not hours. Someone up there has to be able to make this shot. Ellen looks at the torn pages of her calculations scattered on the floor. 3 years of staying dead. 3 years of her daughter thinking she was gone. 3 years of watching from shadows, while others took credit for shots she could make with her eyes closed. All to catch moles like Mitchell, who were selling American lives for cryptocurrency. She reaches into her vest, slowly, and pulls out her dog tags. They're not standard issue. The serial number is redacted with black marker. The name field is empty, but the unit insignia is clear. A skull with crosshairs. Task Force Black, the unit that doesn't exist. My name, she says quietly, is not Ellen Reeves. Prophet's tablet suddenly pings. The facial recognition software he has been running in the background has finally found a match in cached files. Helmet cam footage from Mosul, 2018. A woman making an impossible shot from 2,847 meters. The image is grainy, but the face is unmistakable. The file is stamped with red letters, classified, eyes only. Operator, deceased Kaya, Syria, 2019. Holy cow, Prophet whispers. He turns his tablet toward Cole. Sir, you need to see this. Cole looks at the screen. His face goes pale despite the heat. This is impossible. She's dead. Ghost 6 died 3 years ago. Ellen pulls her full dog tags out, lets them catch the light. I did die. Officially, had to, for the mission. Ghost 6? Nazari breathes the name like a prayer. You're the ghost from Operation Wolverine? 43 confirmed kills? The woman who doesn't exist, Ellen finishes. Who can't exist, because dead women can track weapon dealers without anyone watching them. Mitchell makes a break for the door. The MPs tackle him before he makes it 3 steps. His tablet falls, the screen showing bank transfers, GPS coordinates, convoy routes. Everything the Taliban needed to set up perfect ambushes. You've been selling our routes, Ward's voice comes over the radio, cold and furious. How many soldiers died because of you? Mitchell says nothing. His guilt is written in the data stream still visible on his screen. Ellen picks up Cole's rifle. The weight is familiar, comfortable, like shaking hands with an old friend. 2,917 meters. Wind 23 knots from the west, gusting to 30. Thermal column rising at 800 meters, creating a false pocket at 1,200. Humidity 62%. Barometric pressure dropping, storm coming in 4 hours. That's impossible to calculate without living here, without losing someone here, without spending 3 months after your husband's death, memorizing every wind pattern, every thermal pocket, every way this valley can kill someone you love. She adjusts the scope with practiced efficiency. My husband died on that road down there. 2009, IED. He was covering a convoy just like this one. Cole steps back from the rifle. Take the shot. I can't. Dead women don't take credit for kills. Then don't take credit. Just take the shot. Save that girl. Ellen looks through the scope. The target swims into view through the heat mirages and dust. A Taliban sniper setting up his own shot on the convoy. In 30 seconds, he'll have the angle on Sarah Chen's position. The 19-year-old pre-med student who just wanted to help people will become another casualty in a war that's been claiming young lives for over 20 years. Ellen's breathing slows. 4 counts in, 7 hold, 8 out. She thinks of her daughter at West Point. The graduation she'll miss because she's officially dead. The wedding she won't attend. The grandchildren she'll never hold. All sacrificed to catch men like Mitchell, who sell secrets for money while real soldiers bleed for inches of ground. Her finger finds the trigger. Between heartbeats, in that moment of perfect stillness that snipers call the natural respiratory pause, she begins to squeeze. But then Mitchell shouts something that makes her freeze. There are 3 more. 3 more moles. You kill me, you'll never find them. Ellen doesn't move her eye from the scope, but her finger eases off the trigger slightly. Names. I need a deal first. You need to tell me the names before that Taliban sniper kills an innocent girl, because if she dies, I'm going to remember that you could have saved her, and dead women have all the time in the world for revenge. Mitchell breaks. Thompson in logistics at Bagram, Chen in intelligence at Kandahar, Williams in operations here. Ward's voice crackles over the radio. MPs, arrest all 3 immediately. Ellen returns her focus to the scope. The Taliban sniper is almost in position. Sarah Chen has seconds left. The wind gusts suddenly, 28 knots. The thermal column shifts. Every calculation has to be adjusted in real time. In her head, faster than any computer. "You're off by 2 minutes, Cole says, reading his instruments. "Your instruments are wrong." Ellen doesn't move. "They have been wrong all day." She thinks of her husband's last letter. "If something happens to me, promise you'll keep fighting. Not for revenge, for the ones who come after." Sarah Chen is one of the ones who came after. A young woman trying to make the world better, caught in a war she didn't start, about to be killed by a bullet she'll never see coming, unless a ghost takes the shot. Ellen's world narrows to the scope. The crosshairs, the target, everything else fades away. The bunker, the SEALs, the noise of combat. It's just her, the rifle, and 2,917 meters of Afghan air that wants to send her bullet anywhere but where it needs to go. The wind dies for exactly 2 seconds. The thermal column stabilizes. The mirage effect clears. In that moment of perfect clarity, Ellen takes the first shot. Not at the sniper. That's what he's expecting. She shoots the rock face 6 inches above his position. The bullet fragments, sending sharp stone splinters into his face. He flinches, raises his head above the cover to see where the shot came from. The second shot is already in the air. 4.2 seconds of flight time. The bullet rises through the thermal column, gets pushed by the wind, drops through humid air that slows it more than dry air would. It travels through a half-dozen different wind conditions, each one trying to throw it off course. The Taliban sniper is bringing his rifle around, searching for the source of the first shot. He has no idea the second shot has already sealed his fate. Impact, clean hit, 2,917 meters. The radio explodes with voices. "Hostile down! Convoy, you're clear to move!" Dragon 6, who made that shot? Cole looks at Ellen, then at his team, then makes a decision that goes against every regulation in the book. Unknown friendly. Must be another sniper team in the area. Ellen is already stepping back from the rifle, becoming invisible again. She hands the weapon to Cole, wipes her fingerprints from the scope, and returns to gathering her torn papers like nothing happened. Prophet stares at her. That's impossible. Nobody can calculate that in their head. Ghost 6 could, Nazari says quietly. "My grandfather told me stories. Soviet snipers who could feel the wind, read the air like a book. He said the Americans had one who was better. A woman who appeared in impossible places, took impossible shots, then vanished. He said she died in Syria." "Ghost stories," Cole says firmly, looking at his team. "That's all they are, stories. Ellen Reeves is a translator. The shot came from another position. That's what the report will say." Ellen nods gratefully. Her cover is blown with this small group, but the larger mission continues. 3 more moles to catch, 3 more threats to eliminate, 3 more reasons to stay dead. Mitchell is dragged out by the MPs, his tablet secured as evidence. Williams is arrested in the operations center, caught trying to delete files. Chen, not related to the diplomat's daughter, is found with a bag of cash and a satellite phone with Taliban contacts. Thompson tries to run and is tackled in the motor pool. 4 moles in 1 day. Dozens of future ambushes prevented. Hundreds of lives saved. And nobody will ever know that a ghost did it. The medical evacuation helicopter lands in the valley below. Sarah Chen is loaded carefully. Still breathing, still fighting. She'll make it to surgery. She'll survive. She'll go back to Georgetown, become a doctor, save lives of her own. She'll never know that a woman who doesn't exist anymore made the shot that saved her life. Ellen touches the photo in her pocket again. Her daughter's graduation is in 3 weeks. She won't be there, can't be there. The dead don't attend ceremonies, but maybe, someday, when the last mole is caught and the last threat eliminated, she can stop being dead. Maybe she can be a mother again instead of a ghost. Major Nazari approaches her as the bunker clears. "Your husband. He was the sergeant who saved my cousin's unit in 2009, the one who spotted the IED but couldn't get clear in time." Ellen doesn't confirm or deny. She just continues gathering her papers. "He was a hero," Nazari continues. "And if his widow happened to be the ghost sniper from Task Force Black, well, that would make sense. Heroes marry heroes. I'm just a translator," Ellen says. "Of course. And that shot came from nowhere, from a ghost." Nazari hands her a small stone. In my culture, we place stones on the graves of heroes. If you ever visit a grave that doesn't exist for a woman who isn't dead, Ellen takes the stone. It's warm from his hand, smooth from years of carrying, a talisman, a promise, a secret kept. The SEALs are packing their equipment. Cole approaches Ellen one last time. "My squad," he says quietly. "In 2009, your husband saved us. We were walking straight into an ambush. He saw the signs, broke cover to warn us. The IED that killed him was meant for all of us." Ellen continues packing her maps, not meeting his eyes. "I never got to thank his widow," Cole continues. "Never got to tell her that 8 men went home to their families because of him, that my son got to meet his father because of him." "I'm sure she knows," Ellen says softly. "I'm sure she does." Cole hands her something, his sniper's data card. This recording of today's shot seems to be corrupted. Technical glitch, dust in the electronics, shame. Would have been interesting to analyze those trajectories. The data that would prove she took the shot. Evidence that Ghost 6 is still alive, all deleted with a press of a button. Prophet adds his own tablet to the pile of equipment to be destroyed. Facial recognition software is so unreliable, false matches all the time. I should probably stop using it. One by one, the SEALs erase the evidence. They'll report the shot as coming from an unknown friendly position. The after-action report will be full of holes, inconsistencies that no one will question because the mission was successful. The convoy survived. Sarah Chen lived. The moles were caught. That's all that matters. As the bunker empties, Ellen finds herself alone with the rifle Cole left behind. She runs her hand along the barrel one more time. How many shots has she taken? How many lives saved? How many ghosts has she created? She thinks of the Taliban sniper she killed. Someone's son. Someone's father, maybe. Another ghost in a war full of them. But Sarah Chen is alive because of it. The algebra of war. One life for another, hoping the math works out in favor of the good guys. The helicopter carrying Sarah Chen rises into the afternoon sky, heading for the field hospital at Bagram. She'll be in surgery within an hour. Her parents will get a call that starts with "she's alive" instead of "we regret to inform you." Ellen walks to the bunker's entrance, looks out at the valley where her husband died. Somewhere down there is a piece of twisted metal from the vehicle he was in. Somewhere down there is the spot where he took his last breath, thinking of her and their daughter. She pulls out the photo one more time. Her daughter in West Point uniform, sharp and proud. Following in her parents' footsteps, without knowing, her mother is still walking that path, just in shadows now. "I'm so proud of you," Ellen whispers to the photo. "So proud." A hand falls on her shoulder. It's Ward, the lieutenant commander. "I've seen the classified files," Ward says quietly. "Ghost 6, 43 confirmed kills. The Raqqa shot that saved an entire Delta squadron. The Mosul shot that nobody believes happened because 2,847 meters is impossible." "Ghost 6 is dead," Ellen replies. "Yes, she is. But if she weren't, I'd want her to know something." Ward looks out at the valley. The CIA has 3 more names. 3 more moles that Mitchell didn't know about. Deeper placed, more dangerous. Ellen says nothing. If Ghost 6 were alive, she'd be the only one who could get close to them. The only one they wouldn't see coming. Because nobody watches for the dead. "The dead don't have daughters," Ellen says. "The dead don't have families to protect." "No, but the living do. And keeping those families safe sometimes means staying dead a little longer." Ward places a folder on the ammo crate beside Ellen. "I'll leave this here. Translation work, Pashto documents, the kind of thing a contractor might be interested in." Ward walks away, leaving Ellen with the folder. Inside are 3 photographs, 3 names, 3 locations. The next phase of a mission that started when she died in Syria and won't end until every traitor is caught. Ellen opens her torn notebook, smooths out the pages Cole ripped. Her calculations are still visible, the math that made an impossible shot possible. She tears out those pages, holds them over the burn barrel in the corner of the bunker. The paper catches fire instantly, her work turning to ash and smoke. No evidence, no proof, no credit, just the way ghosts like it. Outside, the sun is setting over the valley. Colors paint the sky, orange, red, purple, beautiful and deadly, like everything in Afghanistan. In a few hours, it will be dark, and the real hunters will come out. The ones who see in the dark. The ones who strike from nowhere. The ones who are already dead, so they have nothing left to lose. Ellen tucks the folder Ward left behind into her vest. 3 new targets, 3 new ghosts to hunt. But right now, there are more immediate concerns. The Taliban knows their sniper is down. They'll send more. They always do. The radio crackles with urgent traffic. Dragon 6, this is Overwatch. We're seeing movement. Multiple hostiles approaching the convoy's previous position. Estimate 14 shooters, possibly more. Cole keys his mic. Copy, Overwatch. Do we have any other assets in the area? Negative, QRF is still 15 minutes out. Ellen studies the valley through binoculars. 14 Taliban fighters moving through the rocks like ghosts themselves, using the same paths their grandfathers used against the Soviets. Each one positioned to create overlapping fields of fire. Smart, professional, trained. They're setting up a kill box, she says quietly. Cole doesn't dismiss her this time. What do you see? 14 positions, 7 primary, 7 secondary. When the convoy moves, the primary shooters will force them toward the secondary positions. Classic hammer and anvil. Can you mark them? Ellen pulls out her torn map, starts marking positions with a pencil. Here, here, and here. The rest will be there. She points to shadows in the rocks that look empty but aren't. Prophet checks through his scope. I don't see anything at those positions. You wouldn't, not until they want you to. Ellen sets down the map. They're using the same positions from 2009, the same positions they used when they ambushed my husband's convoy. The words hang in the air. Every SEAL in the bunker understands what she's not saying. She's memorized every fighting position, every angle, every place a shooter could hide, because knowing might have saved him. Knowing might have brought him home. How do we stop them? Cole asks. Ellen looks at the rifle he left behind, then at the ammunition. Match-grade rounds, each one perfect, each one capable of ending a life at distances that shouldn't be possible. We don't, she says. I do. You can't engage 14 hostiles alone. That's suicide. Not if they don't know where the shots are coming from. Not if they think there's more than one shooter. Ellen starts calculating angles, trajectories, timing. I'll need to fire from multiple positions. Make them think they're taking fire from a full squad. The moment you fire, they'll zero in on your position. No, they'll zero in on where they think the shots came from. Ellen points to the map. Sound echoes 7 times in this valley. If I position the shots correctly, they'll be chasing ghosts. Cole stares at her. This isn't translator thinking. This is advanced tactical planning, the kind they teach at the highest levels of sniper school. Who are you really? He asks. Ellen picks up the rifle, checks the action with practiced ease. Someone who's been dead long enough to know that death is just another form of camouflage. She loads a magazine, 20 rounds, 14 targets, 6 rounds for insurance or complications. The math is simple. The execution won't be. Mitchell, zip-tied in the corner, laughs bitterly. You think you're saving people? Everyone you kill creates 2 more enemies. Their brothers, their sons, they all pick up rifles. Maybe, Ellen acknowledges, but today, right now, those 14 men are going to kill everyone in that convoy if I don't stop them, including Sarah Chen, who just wanted to help people, including the translator who's just trying to feed his family, including the driver who's 19 years old and sends half his pay home to his sick mother. She moves to the firing position, sets up the rifle. The thing about ghosts, Mitchell, is we've already accepted the cost. We're already paying it. Ellen notices Cole checking his phone between position changes, the military insurance app showing his family's coverage. Same provider her husband had when that IED took him in this valley. The screen flashes, comprehensive coverage for those who serve. $20,000 wouldn't bring him back, but it kept their daughter in school. It paid for the funeral. It bought time to grieve without worrying about bills. Cole sees her looking. My wife makes me check it before every mission. Says it helps her sleep knowing we're covered. It doesn't bring them back, Ellen says quietly. No, but it takes care of the ones left behind. The radio interrupts. Dragon 6, convoy, is requesting permission to move. They can't stay in place much longer. Tell them to hold. We're working on something. Ellen settles behind the rifle. Through the scope, she can see the first Taliban fighter settling into position. He's young, maybe 20, someone's son. But in 3 minutes, he'll put a bullet through Sarah Chen's window if Ellen doesn't stop him. The ethical calculus of sniping, playing God from a distance, choosing who lives and who dies based on trajectory and wind. Ellen stopped questioning it years ago. The moment you question, you hesitate. The moment you hesitate, good people die. Target 1, she whispers, marking the position. 843 meters, elevation 2.3 degrees. Wind correction 4 minutes right. Prophet double-checks her math on his calculator. That's perfect. How are you? Target 2, 1,217 meters, elevation 3.8 degrees. Wind correction, 7 minutes right, accounting for thermal pocket at 900 meters. She continues through all 14 positions, calculating each shot in her head, factoring in dozens of variables for each one. By the time she reaches target 14, Prophet has stopped trying to check her math. He just stares in awe. This is impossible. Nobody can hold all those calculations in their head at once. Ghost 6 could, Nazari says. There are stories from Mosul, 17 targets in 4 minutes, all headshots. They say she didn't miss once. Stories, Cole says firmly, but there's uncertainty in his voice now. Ellen begins her breathing pattern. 4 in, 7 hold, 8 out. Her world narrows to the scope, the target, the trigger. The first shot cracks through the air. Target 1 drops, clean headshot at 843 meters. Before the echo fades, Ellen is already shifting to target 2. The Taliban fighters haven't realized they're under fire yet. The sound is bouncing off the valley walls, seeming to come from everywhere and nowhere. Second shot, 1,217 meters. Another headshot. Holy cow, Prophet whispers. 2 for 2. Ellen doesn't hear him. She's already on target 3, then 4, then 5. Each shot perfectly calculated, perfectly executed. The Taliban fighters are scrambling now, confused, trying to identify where the shots are coming from. But the echoes make it impossible. It sounds like they're taking fire from an entire platoon. Shot 6, 7, 8. 8 headshots, Cole counts. 8 impossible headshots. Target 9 is moving, running for better cover. Ellen leads him by exactly the right amount, factors in his speed, the wind, the distance. The bullet meets him precisely where she calculated. 9 down, 5 to go. The remaining fighters are panicking now. They're firing wildly at shadows, at echoes, at positions where no one is shooting from. Their carefully planned ambush has turned into chaos. Shot 10, 11, 12. This is unreal, Prophet says. She's not missing. She's not even close to missing. Target 13 tries to retreat, running back the way he came. It's the hardest shot yet. 2,300 meters, moving target, crosswind gusting to 35 knots. Ellen adjusts in real time, her mind processing variables faster than any computer. The trigger breaks. 4.1 seconds of flight time. The bullet travels through 3 different wind conditions, drops through varying air densities, maintains its spin despite every force trying to destabilize it. Impact. 13 down. The last fighter is the smartest. He's gone to ground, hidden behind solid rock, only his rifle barrel visible. He's waiting for Ellen to reveal her position, ready to return fire the moment she shoots. But Ellen isn't looking at his rifle. She's looking at the rock face above him, calculating angles, thinking about that first shot she took earlier, the one that sent stone fragments into the first sniper's face. "What are you doing?" Cole asks. "You can't hit him behind that cover." Ellen adjusts her aim 6 inches above the fighter's position. "I'm not trying to hit him." She fires. The bullet strikes the angled rock face. Fragments, ricochets downward at exactly 47 degrees. The fragments and deformed bullets strike the fighter from above, the one angle he didn't protect against. 14 targets, 14 headshots, 14 lives ended in less than 4 minutes. The valley falls silent except for the echo of the last shot fading into the distance. "Convoy, you're clear to move," Cole radios. "All hostiles neutralized." Dragon 6, confirm 14 hostiles down. Cole looks at Ellen, then at his team. Confirmed, unknown friendly sniper asset engaged and eliminated all targets. Outstanding. We're moving now. Ellen steps back from the rifle, her hands steady despite what she's just done. 14 shots, 14 lives, 14 more ghosts in a war that manufactures them daily. Prophet is reviewing the footage from his spotting scope. Every shot was a headshot. Every single one. The title of this story writes itself. She scored 14 clean headshots as the SEALs missed by miles. There is no story, Cole says firmly. This didn't happen. Ellen Reeves is a translator who was never here. The shots came from another position. Everyone clear? The The team nods. They understand. Some secrets are worth keeping. Some ghosts need to stay invisible. The embassy lawyer behind the concrete barriers is still clutching his tablet, the screen showing bar exam prep materials, his hands shaking as the shooting stops. Online certification, study anywhere, the banner reads. Ellen sees it and remembers her daughter studying for college finals in a bunker during a rocket attack. Education doesn't stop for war. Neither does hope for the future. The lawyer will go home, pass his bar exam, forget this day, or try to. Lieutenant Commander Ward returns to the bunker, her face grim but satisfied. The 3 contractors Mitchell named have all been arrested. We found evidence on all of them: payments, communications, plans for future ambushes. 4 moles in 1 day, Cole says. That's got to be some kind of record. 5, Ward corrects. We just arrested another one at Kandahar. Ellen's intelligence was good. Ellen doesn't react to the praise. She's reading the folder Ward left earlier. 3 more targets, 3 more ghosts to hunt. The war isn't over. It never is. If this story made you think differently about the quiet heroes among us, please share it. Someone needs to hear this today. And next week, a different kind of warrior, a different kind of courage. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what happens when a military spouse stands up to an entire system. The medical evacuation helicopter returns, having successfully delivered Sarah Chen to the field hospital. The pilot radios in. Diplomat 1's daughter is stable. Surgery was successful. She's going to make it. Ellen closes her eyes for a moment. 1 life saved. Worth 14 taken? The math never works out cleanly in war. Ma'am, Prophet approaches her hesitantly, those shots you took. I've been doing this for 8 years, and I've never seen anything like it. Where did you train? Here and there, Ellen says vaguely. That's not here and there shooting. That's world class. That's legendary. Legends are just stories people tell when the truth is classified. Major Nazari joins them. My grandfather would have called you a death wind, a force of nature that appears when needed and vanishes when the work is done. Your grandfather sounds poetic. He was practical. He survived the Soviet war by knowing when to fight and when to hide. He would have recognized you as someone who knows both. The bunker is clearing now. The immediate threat is over. The convoy is moving to safety. The moles are arrested. The mission that started 3 years ago with Ellen's fake death is finally bearing fruit. Cole approaches one last time. I need to know something. In 2009, when your husband saved my squad, did he know what would happen? Ellen finally meets his eyes. He knew someone had to warn you. He knew the IED was there. He knew he couldn't warn you and get clear in time. So he chose us over himself. He chose 8 lives over 1. Simple math. There's nothing simple about that math. No, Ellen agrees. There isn't. Cole extends his hand. Thank you for everything, for the shots, for your husband's sacrifice, for staying dead to keep us safe. Ellen doesn't take his hand. Dead women don't shake hands, Cole. We don't exist. We were never here. He nods, understanding. Some boundaries can't be crossed, even in gratitude. The SEALs pack up their equipment, preparing to leave. Each one stops by Ellen's position, not speaking, just nodding. A silent acknowledgement of what they've witnessed, what they'll never speak about. As the bunker empties, Ellen finds herself alone with Ward. The 3 targets in that folder, Ward says, they're not going to be easy. They're embedded deep. One is a full colonel, another is a CIA contractor with a 30-year record. The third we're not even sure about. Could be anyone. The deeper they're embedded, the more damage they can do, Ellen replies, and the more dangerous they are to hunt. I'm already dead, remember? What are they going to do, kill me again? Ward smiles grimly. Your daughter. She graduates from West Point in 3 weeks. Ellen's expression doesn't change, but her hand moves unconsciously to the photo in her pocket. It would be understandable if Ghost 6 wanted to stop being dead for 1 day, to see her daughter commissioned. Ghost 6 doesn't have a daughter. Ellen Reeves did, but she died in Syria. Of course. But if she did have a daughter, that daughter would be proud of her mother's service, even if she never knew about it. Ellen turns away. The dead don't attend graduations, Commander. No, but sometimes they watch from a distance. Sometimes they leave flowers with no card. Sometimes they make sure the people they love are safe, even if they can't be there to see it. Ward leaves the folder and exits the bunker. Ellen is truly alone now, surrounded by spent shell casings and the ghosts of the 14 men she just killed. She picks up one of the casings, still warm from firing. 14 shots, 14 lives. In the greater calculus of war, she saved more than she took. The convoy survived. Sarah Chen will become a doctor. The moles who would have caused dozens of future ambushes are caught. But the cost. Ellen walks to the bunker entrance, looks out at the valley one more time. Somewhere down there, 14 families will mourn tonight. 14 mothers will wonder why their sons didn't come home. It doesn't matter that those sons were planning to kill innocents. Grief doesn't care about sides. She pulls out her satellite phone, dials a number from memory. It rings twice before a familiar voice answers. Operational support. This is Ghost 6. A pause. Ma'am, you're supposed to be dead. I know, but the dead have excellent hearing. I understand there are 3 more targets. Yes, ma'am. High value, deep cover, maximum risk. Send me the full files. Encrypted drop, usual location. Ma'am, if I may, how long are you planning to stay dead? Ellen looks at the photo of her daughter again. 3 weeks until graduation. 3 weeks until her little girl becomes a second lieutenant in the same army that Ellen has served in Shadows. As long as necessary, she says. The dead don't have schedules to keep. She ends the call, tucks the phone away. The sun is almost down now, the valley falling into darkness. Soon, the night hunters will emerge, the special operations forces who own the darkness, who strike and vanish before dawn. Ellen will move with them, invisible among the invisible, a ghost among wolves. She leaves the bunker, moving through the fob like she belongs there. Nobody questions a contractor with the right badges. Nobody looks twice at a middle-aged woman with translator credentials. At the motor pool, she requisitions a vehicle for translation duties at the safe house. The motor sergeant barely glances at her paperwork. She's invisible in her ordinariness, deadly in her anonymity. The drive down the mountain is treacherous in the growing darkness. No headlights. They draw sniper fire. She navigates by memory and moonlight, following roads she memorized after her husband's death. At a bend in the road, she stops. This is the place. The crater from the IED has been filled in, but she knows the spot. This is where Sergeant First Class Michael Blackwood died, saving 8 men he barely knew. Ellen gets out of the vehicle, walks to the side of the road. There's no marker, no memorial, just Afghan dirt and rocks, the same as everywhere else. But she knows. She remembers. From her pocket, she takes the stone Major Nazari gave her. Smooth, warm, carried by someone who understands that heroes need remembering even when their graves don't exist. She places the stone carefully, then adds 14 more, 1 for each shot she took today. Not in celebration, in acknowledgement. Every kill has a cost. Every bullet fired changes the shooter as much as the target. I kept my promise, she tells the empty air. I kept fighting, not for revenge, for the ones who come after. The wind picks up, swirling dust around her feet. For a moment, she imagines she can hear Michael's voice in it, telling her it's okay to be tired. It's okay to want to stop being dead. But there are 3 more moles, 3 more threats to the soldiers Michael died to protect. 3 more reasons to stay in the shadows. Ellen returns to the vehicle, drives back toward the fob, but she doesn't enter. Instead, she parks at an overlook position where she can see the entire valley. From here, she watches the convoy reach safety, watches the helicopters ferry the wounded to hospitals, watches the war continue its ancient rhythm. Her satellite phone buzzes. The encrypted files have arrived. 3 names, 3 photos, 3 targets who think they're safe because nobody knows they're traitors. They're about to learn what the Taliban learned today. Death can come from anywhere, at any distance, with no warning. And sometimes, death has green eyes and carries a photo of a daughter she can't acknowledge. Ellen opens the first file. Colonel James Patterson, 30-year career, spotless record, selling troop movements for his retirement fund. Based at Bagram, surrounded by security, impossible to reach, impossible, like a 2,900-meter shot through a windstorm. The second file, CIA contractor David Chen, no relation to Sarah, 20-year veteran of the intelligence community, passing satellite imagery to Pakistani intelligence who sell it to the highest bidder. Lives in the green zone, never travels without a security detail. The third file is almost empty, just a code name, Viper. Could be military, could be contractor, could be State Department, The only thing certain is, they exist and they're killing Americans by selling information. 3 ghosts for a ghost to hunt. Ellen memorizes the files, then destroys the phone. She'll get another from a dead drop tomorrow, and another the day after that. The tools of staying dead. Constant movement, no patterns, no connections to the living. She thinks about Cole's unit, about the story they'll tell. An unknown sniper saved them. 14 perfect shots from nowhere. A ghost in the mountains who appeared when needed and vanished when the job was done. They'll never know it was the widow of the man who saved them 13 years ago. They'll never know she's been watching over them from the shadows, honoring her husband's sacrifice by continuing his mission. That's the thing about ghosts. We don't need credit. We just need to know the mission continues. Ellen starts the vehicle, drives into the darkness. Tomorrow, she'll be back at the FOB, just another translator nobody notices. She'll listen to conversations, read documents, gather intelligence. She'll find the 3 moles, and when she does, they'll learn what Mitchell learned today. The dead don't miss, the dead don't forgive, and the dead have all the time in the world to hunt. As she drives, she passes a checkpoint where young soldiers are standing guard. They look impossibly young, the age her daughter was when Michael died. They're alert, professional, ready. But they can't see every threat. They can't know that someone inside their own ranks is selling their lives for cryptocurrency. That's why ghosts exist. To hunt the threats that hide in plain sight. To take the shots nobody else can take. To die on paper so others can live in reality. Ellen pulls into a safe house on the outskirts of the base. It's registered to a translation company that doesn't really exist, funded by black budget money that's never audited. Here, she can be Ellen Reeves, translator, nobody important. But in the basement, locked behind biometric scanners that aren't supposed to exist, is Ghost 6's equipment, the rifles nobody's supposed to have, the ammunition that doesn't officially exist, the tools of a trade that has no name. She descends to the basement, unlocks the vault. Inside, her real rifle waits. Not the borrowed SEAL weapon from today, but her custom-built system. The one that made the shot in Mosul everyone says is impossible. The one she'll use to hunt 3 more ghosts. On the wall is a photo she's not supposed to have. Her daughter at 17, the day she decided to attend West Point. The day she chose to serve, not knowing her mother was still serving in shadows. 3 more, Ellen tells the photo. 3 more, and maybe I can stop being dead. Maybe I can be your mother again instead of your ghost. But she knows it's a lie. There will always be 3 more. 3 more moles, 3 more threats, 3 more reasons to stay dead. That's the nature of this war. It doesn't end. It just changes shape. Ellen cleans her rifle with the ritual precision of someone who's done it 10,000 times. Each piece cleaned, oiled, reassembled. The tool of her trade, the extension of her will, the means by which she projects death across impossible distances. Tomorrow, she'll begin hunting Colonel Patterson. She'll learn his patterns, his weaknesses, his vulnerabilities. She'll find the moment when he's exposed, when a shot is possible, and then she'll take it. From so far away he'll never know it's coming, because that's what ghosts do. We appear when needed. We do what's necessary. And then we vanish, leaving only questions and shell casings behind. The radio in the corner crackles with routine traffic from the base. Normal operations resuming. The crisis is over. The convoy is safe. The moles are arrested. Life goes on for the living. But for Ellen, for Ghost 6, the war continues. 3 names on a list. 3 bullets waiting to be fired. 3 more reasons to stay dead. She looks at the mission clock on the wall. 20 days until her daughter's graduation. 20 days to eliminate 3 targets and maybe, just maybe, find a way to watch from a distance as her little girl becomes an officer. It's impossible, of course. The targets are too well protected. The timeline is too short. The risk is too high. But then again, everyone said 2,917 meters was impossible too. Ellen loads a magazine, chambers around, and sights through the scope at a target a mile away. The crosshairs settle on a mark no bigger than a coin. She breathes. 4 in, 7 hold, 8 out. Between heartbeats, in that moment of perfect stillness, she squeezes the trigger. The shot is perfect. It always is, because the dead don't miss. The target falls, the paper figure torn through the center. 1 mile in darkness with no night vision. Another impossible shot made possible by years of practice. Thousands of rounds fired, countless hours becoming one with the rifle. Ellen makes a mark in her logbook. shot number 40,217. Each one recorded, analyzed, learned from. The accumulation of skill that makes the impossible merely difficult. She thinks about the SEALs, about their frustration at missing. They're excellent shooters, some of the best in the world, but they haven't paid the price she has. They haven't spent 3 years dead, doing nothing but hunting and shooting. They haven't made their entire existence about the perfect shot. That's the difference between the living and the dead. The living have other priorities, families, careers, futures. The dead have only the mission. Ellen secures her rifle, locks the vault, returns to the upper floor. Here, she becomes Ellen Reeves again. Translator, nobody special. She makes tea, reviews translation work that actually needs doing. Cover stories require real work to be believable. As she works, she thinks about Sarah Chen, alive in a hospital bed because a ghost took 14 impossible shots. She thinks about Cole's squad, alive because Michael saw an IED and chose to warn them. She thinks about all the soldiers who will live because 4 moles were caught today. The mathematics of sacrifice. 1 life for many. 1 ghost for hundreds of living soldiers. It's almost midnight when she finally stops working. She steps outside, looks up at the stars. They're brilliant here, away from the city lights. The same stars Michael saw. The same stars her daughter sees at West Point. The best snipers don't need credit, she says to the darkness. They just need 1 perfect shot. Tomorrow, the hunt begins again. Tomorrow, 3 more ghosts need catching. But tonight, for just a moment, Ellen Reeves allows herself to imagine a world where she doesn't have to be Zed, where she can attend her daughter's graduation, where she can stop being Ghost 6 and start being a mother again. She closes her eyes and lets the fantasy unfold like a tactical map of a life she'll never live. She sees herself in a simple blue dress, not contractor cargo pants. Her hair down, not tied in a tactical bun. Her hands holding a camera, not calculating wind speeds for kill shots. She imagines sitting in the audience at West Point, tears of pride rolling down her cheeks as her daughter walks across that stage. The superintendent would call out, "Second Lieutenant Rebecca Blackwood," and Ellen would stand and clap until her hands hurt, not caring who saw her cry. In this dream, she'd take her daughter to lunch afterward at that little Italian place near the Hudson River. They'd laugh about Rebecca's first day at Beast Barracks, about the upper-class cadets who tried to break her, about the obstacle course that almost defeated her. Rebecca would show her the calluses on her hands from the rifle range, and Ellen would show her own. And they'd compare them like normal mothers and daughters compare wedding rings or baby photos. She imagines teaching her daughter the things that aren't in any field manual. How to read the wind, not for shooting, but for sailing. How to track movement not for targeting, but for birdwatching. How to breathe in patterns not for trigger control, but for meditation, for peace, for letting go of the ghosts that follow every soldier home. There would be Sunday dinners where they'd cook Michael's famous chili recipe, the one he learned from his grandfather, the one that takes 6 hours and makes the whole house smell like home. Rebecca would complain it's too spicy, just like she did when she was 7, and Ellen would add sour cream to her bowl, just like she always did. They'd look at photo albums filled with pictures that actually exist, not classified files that show faces Ellen had to memorize and forget. In this impossible world, Ellen would tell her daughter the truth, not about Ghost 6, that would always stay buried, but about the nights she couldn't sleep after Michael died, about the weight of raising a child alone, about the pride that threatened to burst her chest when Rebecca chose West Point. She'd tell her about the letter she writes every year on Rebecca's birthday but never sends, the one that starts with "My darling girl" and ends with "Your mother who loves you more than breath itself." She imagines walking Rebecca down the aisle at her wedding someday, taking the father's traditional place because Michael can't. She imagines grandchildren with Rebecca's green eyes and Michael's stubborn chin. She imagines teaching them to tie their shoes, to ride bicycles, to be brave but not reckless, strong but not heartless. She imagines growing old in a house with a garden, where she plants tomatoes instead of surveillance devices, where she measures rainfall for her roses instead of calculating bullet drop. It's a beautiful dream. So beautiful it physically hurts, like staring directly at the sun. So perfect it makes the reality even darker by comparison. Ellen opens her eyes. The stars haven't moved. Only seconds have passed, though she lived years in that moment. The rifle is still warm beside her. The 3 folders with 3 targets still wait on the table. Tomorrow's hunt still beckons with its promise of necessary violence and invisible justice. But dreams are for the living. Dreams are for people whose names appear on Christmas card lists, whose phones ring with happy news, whose biggest decision is what to make for dinner. Dreams are for those who can afford to hope, to plan, to believe in futures that stretch beyond the next mission, the next target, the next perfectly calculated shot. And Ellen Reeves has been dead for 3 years. Dead women don't dream. They haunt. They watch from shadows. They protect from distances measured in meters and years. They love from beyond the grave of their own making, their own choosing, their own necessity. The war goes on. It always does. In valleys like Korengal and in conference rooms in Langley. In the hearts of daughters who think their mothers are dead, and in the scope of a rifle that never misses. The war continues in every choice between revelation and concealment, between duty and desire, between the mother she wants to be and the ghost she has to remain. The ghosts continue their hunt. Because someone has to. Someone has to be the thing that goes bump in the night for those who sell soldiers' lives. Someone has to be the invisible hand of justice that reaches out across impossible distances. Someone has to be already dead so others can keep living. And somewhere in the darkness, death watches through a scope, patient as stone, inevitable as gravity, waiting for the perfect shot that will save lives nobody will ever know were in danger. Ellen shoulders her rifle, turns toward the safe house. 3 more ghosts to hunt. 3 more bullets to send through calculated air. 3 more reasons to stay dead just a little longer, always just a little longer, because that's what ghosts do. We save the living, even if it kills us, even if we're already dead.
The stories end here, but the journey continues. Many new episodes are waiting for you. And if you enjoy, please take a moment to like, subscribe to our EV Story channel, and turn on the bell. See you in the next story.